General veterinary parasitology and helminthology. General veterinary parasitology. Course overview. Outline on type of helminth, its life cycle, pathogenesis and clinical sign, zoonotic significance of helminthes and its control, diagnosis, treatment and control of helminth, economic loss due to helminth. Module first. Parasite and parasitism. Parasite and parasitism. Learning objectives. The module Parasite and Parasitism will enlighten the student on the need to study veterinary parasitology, their importance in the field of medicine and veterinary science, the relationship between various organisms and the other type of parasitism. Introduction. What is veterinary parasitology? In simple terms, veterinary parasitology is the study of parasite of domestic animal. On a broader platform, veterinary parasitology is the science that explores the relationship between various animal hosts and their parasite. Precisely, veterinary parasitology is the science that develops on the anatomy and physiology of parasite, their host transmission, development, impact, and their detection and control. Importance of parasites. Parasite diseases are known since time im- immemorial, and yet many of the parasitic diseases have not been controlled and continue to evade and plague mankind. Helminthic infections have been found in ancient Egyptian mummies. According to the famous Ebers papyrus of 1550 BC, at least four worm infections were recognized in ancient Egypt, including Ascaris lumbricoides, Taenius saginata, Dracunculus medinensis guinea worm, and Cystiosoma hematobium. The papyrus also provides information on arthropods such as fleas, fly, and lice. More recently, evidence was obtained from examined tissue section of ancient Egyptian mummies that Trichinella spiralis existed as an infection during that period. Helminthes were mentioned by Assyrian, Babylonian, and Greek physicians. Therefore, all of you should appreciate the fact that parasites have existed in this world for a long time and have become very successful in foreign a good relationship with the host and discreetly utilize the relationship to their advantage and finally depriving the host of their nutrients. Parasite disease have their place in the history of the world, and many wars were influenced by parasitic disease. Alexander the Great could not continue this conquest of the world owing to malaria. They killed many of his soldiers. Kingdom in northern Africa could not invade the South Africa owing to trypanosomosis in many parts of the world. Livestock could not be raised owing to parasitic disease. Parasitic disease continue to be the single most causes of mortality and morbidity in livestock, resulting in immense economic loss of farmers. In India, gastrointestinal nematodiosis in sheep and goat is so common and continue cause havoc to the small ruminant industry. Calves and lambs, if infected with great numbers of parasites such as liver fluke or Haemonchus or coccidia, may succumb to the infection. Diseases such as theileriosis continue to cause mortality in crossbreed cattle. Cattle, pigs, sheep, and goat infected with parasite fail to gain weight and may not reproduce thereby affecting the economy of the livestock enterprise. In our country, coccidiosis is so common in poultry farm If the farm management is poor, the farm can be easily destroyed by coccidiosis. In the case of pet animal, toxocariosis and encyclostomosis are so common that it is rare to come across a dog that is free of this worm. Puppy infected with hookworm and ascarid die of the infection, and heartworm infection in dog continue to be a great challenge to veterinarians in certain parts of the world. Of course, heartworm infection is a problem only in northeast India, but it poses a great challenge to veterinarians in the United States. Cats infected with Toxoplasma gondii are a threat to other livestock and human. If you take arthropod, mankind is yet to conquer so many of them. Mosquito continue to pose a big challenge to scientists only in the near past. The genome of mosquito and Plasmodium was sequenced. During the course of evolution, living forms come together and associated as groups to ensure that survival in the environment. The association is referred to as symbiosis is or symbiotic relationship. When the association is between members of the same genotype is known as homogenetic association. For example, a flock of sheep or a pack of dogs. When the association is between members of different genotypes, as between a cattle and a insect, it is referred to as heterogenetic association. Symbiosis, commensalism, and predatorism. Symbiosis, commensalism, and predatorism. Symbiosis may be of different kind, wise mutualism, commensalism, forasis, parasitism, or predatorism. Symbiosis. Symbiosis is associated between two different organisms living in close physical association, usually to the advantage of both as opposed to free living organisms or simply living together. Any organism that is intimately associated with another organism of a different species is considered to be a symbiont. Forasis. Forasis is a relationship between two symbionts which are merely traveling together and without physiological or biochemical dependence on each other. One will be larger than the other, and the smaller foront will be mechanically carried by the larger foront. For example, might carried by beetles or bacteria on the leg of a fly. Mutualism. Mutualism Mutualism is a relationship involving symbionts that are mutually dependent on each for food and shelter. The relationship is usually obligatory, and one symbiont cannot survive without the other. Example: intestinal protozoa in termite. Termite feed on food that they do not digest, but protozoa living in their intestine digest the food. Termites do not have the enzyme cellulose, but still feed on food that is rich in cellulose. Protozoa living in the intestine of termites synthesize the enzyme cellulose and help in digesting the food ingested by the termite. Commensalism is a type of relationship in which one symbiont derives benefit from the other symbiont host, but the host is neither benefited nor harmed. The term commensalism refers to eating at the same table. Commensalism may be either facultative or obligatory. It is obligatory when the host is required for their survival, and facultative when the host is not required for their survival. The amoeba, Entamoeba gingivalis, is an obligatory commensalism that is present in the mouth of human, where it feeds on bacteria, food, and the epithelial cell, but never harm the healthy tissue in the mouth. On the other hand, the ciliate Verticella, a facultative commensal may associated with small crustaceans in a pond but are not dependent on them for their survival. Predatorism. Predatorism is the relationship between predator and prey where the predators kill the prey of food for food. Predator are animal or invertebrate that prey on other animal or invertebrate for food. Both parasite and predators live at the expense of the host or prey. Parasites seldom kill their host and are small in relation to the size of the host, whereas predators kill the prey. Parasites have a higher reproductive potential than their host and are more numerous, while predators have a lower reproductive potential than their prey and are less numerous. Parasitoids. Parasitoids are those who immature stage develop on other parasite and emerge by killing the parasite. Example: Hymenopteron fly on dipteron fly. Parasite and parasitism. Parasite and parasitism. Parasitism may be defined as association between two species in which one species, the parasite, live in or on a second species, the host, for a significant period of its life and is metabolically dependent on the host for its survival. The organism that derived benefit from the association is called as the parasite, while the other that is harmed is called as the host. The word parasite is derived from the Greek word and means besides food. Paramis besides, cytos means food. The parasite live at the expense of the host without endangering the host. It does not kill the ghost that lay the golden eggs. A predator kills the prey to feed upon the flesh, but a parasite takes advantage of the host without killing it. Type of parasitism. Types of parasitism. Ectoparasite is a parasite that live on the surface of a host. Example: fleas, ticks, lice, fly, etc. Endoparasite are parasites that live inside the body of the host. Example: fluke, tapeworm, roundworm, etc. Obligate parasites are parasites that cannot complete their life cycle without spending a part of their life cycle on the host. Example: trematodes. Facultative parasites are not normally parasitic but become parasitic when they accidentally find a host. Example: Nigeria fowleri in human cause primary amoebic meningitis and Chrysomia spleen. Example: larva in wound. Accidental parasites are the free living organisms that enter or attach to the host by accident and lead a short parasite existence. Example: larva of Musca domestica in host. Incidental parasite is a parasite found in the host that is not its original host. Toxocara vitulorum in goat. Permanent parasites are those that spend their entire life cycle in or on the body of the host. Example: lice. Temporary parasites are those whose life cycle are not spent entirely on the host and are seen only for certain period of time, short or long duration. Example: mosquito and bugs. Erratic or apparent or ectopic parasites are present in locations that are not their usual site. Example: liver fluke in human in lungs. Liver fluke in lungs. Hyperparasites are those that parasite other parasites. Example: Plasmodium on mosquitoes. Superior parasites are parasites found transiently in the excretion of the host in view of the host having consumed a parasite of another host. Example, egg of Monagia in dog feces after ingestion of Monagia infected sheep, goat, and cattle intestine, but the good dog. Pseudoparasite or artifact are parasites that resemble a parasite and which are present in the clinical specimens. Example, plant fiber, yeast, pollen grain, etc. A monogenetic parasite is one where there is no alteration of generation. Example, ascarid, amoeba, trichomonas, etc. While a digenetic parasite is one in which there is alternation of generation. Coccidia, Plasmodium, Pyroplasmid, trematodes of higher vertebrate where asexual generation alternates with the sexual generation of. Example, in pyroplasmids, the asexual stage are present in vertebrate host and the sexual stage in invertebrate host. Parasites that require more than one host to complete its life cycle are termed heterogeneous. Example, Theileria annulata, cattle and ticks, while parasites that require only one host to complete its life cycle and said to be homogeneous or monogeneous, amoeba and coccidia, etc. Parasites with a narrow host range are referred to as stenogenous. Example, Hematopoiesis Swiss in pig and Coccidia, whereas parasites with a wide host range are known as uregenous parasite. Example, Toxoplasma gondii. Synthenotropic parasites are the parasites that are present or frequent human dwelling. Example, housefly, cockroach, etc. Types of parasite. Module 2. Types of parasite. On the basis of activity in a day, parasites are further divided into diurnal parasite, nocturnal parasite, crepuscular parasite. Diurnal parasites are those that are active in the day. Example, Musca domestica, the Venus species of fly. Nocturnal parasites are those that are active at night. Anopheline mosquitoes. Crepuscular refer to parasites that are active at twilight or dusk. Example, the bitting meat culicoids species. Type of parasitism. Types of parasitism. Infection refer to parasitism of host by internal parasites. Example, amphistomes in livestock. Infestation refer to parasitism of host by external parasite, flea, lice, tick, flea, etc. Autoinfection refer to a condition where the juvenile infection from a parasite without escaping from the host infect the same host. Enterobius vermicularis. Hyperinfection refer to a condition where the juvenile from a parasite without exting the host penetrate in an area adjacent to the site of predilection and establishes in the same host. Example, strongyloids species. Congenital transuterine or transplacental infection is transmission of parasite from the dam to the fetus across placental membrane. Example, Toxocara canis in dog. Transmammary transcolostral is transmission of parasite from the dam to the young one through the milk of the infected dam. Toxocara cati in cattle. Transovarian transmission is transmission of parasite from the female parent to the progeny through the ova. Example, Babesia bigemina in ticks. Transstadial stage to stage is transmission of parasite from one stage to another stage of the vector, as in Theileria annulata in Hyaloma species of tick. Zoonoses are diseases common to human and animal. Singular zoonoses, according to WHO, zoonoses are diseases transmissible between vertebrate animal and man. Anthropozoonosis is a disease of animal transmitted to human. Examples: cystic echinococcus from animal to human. Zooanthropozoonosis is a disease of human transmitted to animal. Example: Tinea solium from human to pig. Types of host. Types of host. Definitive host. Definitive host. Definitive hosts are hosts that habituate the adult sexual from the parasite. Example: sheep from Fasciola gigantica, dog for Echinococcus granulosus, and horse for Heteronema musci. Intermediate hosts are those that harbor the asexual form of the parasite only when there is an obligatory parasite through the host. Intermediate hosts may be divided into passive intermediate hosts, snail for trematodes, and active intermediate hosts, Themenes species for Trimesoma evansi. Reservoir hosts. Reservoir hosts are hosts that harbor a parasite of another host without itself getting affected but act a source of infection for the original host. Example: game animal for the protozoan parasite Trypanosoma gambians. Carrier hosts are hosts that have a residual population of the parasite and act as a source of infection for the same type of host. Transport hosts are those that harbor the immature or infective stage of a parasite of another host and help in disseminating the parasite without any development in itself. Example: earthworm for egg or larva of Ascaridigendi. Paratinic, paratinic acid, paratinic host are those that harbor the immature or infective stage of a parasite in an encapsulated form and help in dissemination of the parasite to the definitive host. Example: Calotage for Spirocerca lupi. Intercalary host. Intercalary host is a host that liberates the infective stage of a parasite of another trapped in the body of the original host. Example: cat by eating mice liberate the egg of Capillaria hepatica which are trapped in the liver parenchyma. Vector. A vector is a Latin word which means barrier or the broad sense any agent that carries infectious organism between animal. A vector is an arthropod that carry the parasite between two vertebrate hosts. Example: tick and mosquito of various blood protozoan. Vector may be divided into mechanical vector and cyclical vector. A mechanical vector is an arthropod that carry the infectious agent from one vertebrate host to another without any development in the body. Example: Tabenes transmitting T. evansi by interrupted feeding or housefly transmitting cyst of Entamoeba histolytica, while a cyclical vector is a vector in which the parasite undergo development or multiplication before being transmitted to the next host. Tick transmitting hemoprotozoan parasite. Terminology used in parasitic disease. Terminology used in parasitic disease. Epidemiology is the study of a disease in relation to the population aspect of disease such as incidence, prevalence, and transmission in a population. Endemic disease refer to a disease that occurs with a predictable frequency with minor fluctuations in a population. Epidemic disease refer to disease that occurs at a higher level in a place at a time than expected for the disease in the place at the particular time. Sporadic disease are those disease that occurs irregularly with widely disrupted incidence or a disease that occurs infrequently. Pandemic is an epidemic occurring in a wide or larger area. Incubation period is the time lapse between the entry of the parasite and the first appearance or onset of clinical sign. Pre-patent period is the period in which the form of the parasite is demonstrated in the clinical material of the host. Hypobiosis refers to temporary cessation in the development of immature stage of some nematode parasite in the host due to adverse environmental conditions, for example, osteotagia in cattle. Hibernation winter sleep refers to low activity of parasite in winter. Estivation summer sleep is the period of low activity in summer. Diapause in a period of low activity in arthropod. Parthenogenesis is a virgin birth referred to formation of progeny without fertilization. Example: Hemophysalis and Strongyloids species of nematodes. Pedogenesis. Pedogenesis, juvenile multiplication. Refer to multiplication of juvenile or immature stage of parasite in intermediate host. Example: multiplication of immature stage of trematodes in snail. Metagenesis. Metagenesis, alternation of generation. Refer to sexual multiplication alternating with sexual multiplication. Example: trematodes, sexual multiplication in definitive host, alternative with pedogenesis in intermediate host. Zygogony. Zygogony is a type of asexual division or multiplication in protozoa where a parasite multiply into numerous individuals by multiple fission. The nucleus of the parasite undergo repeated division without cytokinase. Example: epicomplexan parasite. Gametogony is the differentiation of gamete in the male and female gamete. Syngamy is the union of the male and female gamete to form the zygote. Example: epicomplexan parasite. Sporogony. Sporogony is the differentiation of zygote to oocyte, sporocyst and sporozoite. Example are epicomplexan parasite. Host-parasite relationship. Host-parasite relationship. Host-parasite relationship, as the term implies, is the relationship between two organisms, namely the host and the parasite, where the parasite invariably succeed in forming a relationship to its advantage. Parasite, upon entering their host through various routes, may survive or die in the host. If parasites survive, they develop and multiply, causing infection or disease in the host. In evolution, there is always a tendency towards mutual adjustment between two organisms, and therefore both parasite and the host forage a relationship that may either limit the infection so that parasite control is achieved without any pathological changes. Therefore, successful parasites tend to become harmless to the host. Majority of the parasites that survive in their host do not endanger their host, since they do not want to lose their shelter and food. However, the host try to expel or kill the parasite by immune response. When the host attempt to kill the parasite by immune mediated mechanism, immunopathological lesions develop leading to disease in the animal. Host parasite relationship is a dynamic process where the host employs innate and acquired immune mechanism to destroy the parasite. The nutrition status of the host and the energy resources of the host at the start of an infection play a role in determining the ultimate outcome of the host parasite relationship. Malnutrition will impede the animal's ability to respond immunoglobally to the parasite. As parasites are large and complex, the host finds it difficult to counter the parasite by immune-mediated mechanism, resulting in response that are not always protective. In addition, parasites also evade the immune response of the host by various ways to ensure their survival and propagation. Therefore, host parasite relationship is an intricate relationship where the host attempts to destroy the parasite, but the parasite does not endanger their host lest that they show lose their shelter and food. Host-parasite relationship occurs in a complex ecological setting where in vivo and external environment change continuously. Thank you.